Hiya, I hope you're keeping well. Today I'm just going to do a really simple makeup that I always do on myself. It's a lovely kind of coppery eyeshadow, really simple fresh base and some creams on the skin to just give it lots of luminosity. So I'm going to start with Charlotte's Magic Cream in the new light texture. I remember when I used to work at Selfridges, you'd get so many questions about Magic Cream and people saying, is it as good as everyone says? And, you know, is Magic Cream worth it? And all of this. One of the things I'd say with Magic Cream, it basically came to fruition based on this cream that Charlotte used to always have in her kit before the brand ever came about when she was working makeup artist. Not that she isn't now, but you know what I mean. And it's essentially designed to really make your skin look lovely with the makeup you're putting on top of it. So for me, it's a dedicated skincare product with the purpose of making your makeup look great. So if you're someone that likes really targeted skincare and you want, you know, a really personal consultation for your skin needs, that's one thing. But for me, having something like Magic Cream is one of those things that, okay, I'm feeling a bit dry and parched and I need makeup to look great. That's when I would go for my Magic Cream. And then I'm just going to go in with a little bit of CC Cream Illumination. I've been trying to wear a bit less coverage. Oh gosh, I'm reaching the absolute last legs of this. I'm going to keep going, I'm sure it'll come out. Well, there we go, look. That'll actually, I'll have to go nice and sheer coverage because there's hardly any left in there. What I've been doing is trying to just keep my base a bit fresher and experiment with it, because I think when you're out and about, you just err on the side of caution. Well, I do anyway. And I think, well, I don't want my makeup to go anywhere all day. So I'm going to put absolutely loads on so that that doesn't happen. But when you're just pottering about, you can take the risk and see how it does wear through the day. Because what's the worst that can happen? You know, you haven't got perfect makeup from going to the kitchen to the living room at the moment. So I'm just going to buff that in all over. This makeup actually that I'm doing is the makeup, I'd posted it recently. I'd put a picture up to talk about my hair. And I was saying, oh, I'm using this, that, the other on my hair. And then all the comments were just like, that's fine, but what's your makeup today? So this is a makeup I've been meaning to do. It's colours that I always use whenever I want to feel just quite nice and like, you know, when you know the colours that suit you. And I wore it for a video I did for Fearne Cotton's Happy Place Festival, which was just last week. I'll put a link to that so that you can watch it. But it's one of my favourite things I've ever done. That is my favourite podcast. Well, that one and the Griefcast is lovely. Let me just seal this with some powder and I'll tell you about both of them actually. This is the new Hourglass powder. I'm just going to take a tiny bit of this by that nose. I want to look dewy, but not shiny. And just a little bit of powder in the right areas, especially down the centre of the face, is key to striking that balance. And then I'm going to put a little bit just swept right the way across my lids and under the eye, so that it's kind of sealed everything in, but there's still a little bit of slip there to hold onto my eyeshadow. You may have seen me talk about this before. I'm going to use MAC Antiqued. It's my favourite shadow of all time. So Fearne's Happy Place Festival, I'm sure you may have listened to it, but if you haven't, it's a really great series of conversations about all kinds of well-being and kind of mental health and lots of different things. I think each guest brings something different, but it's a really, really lovely podcast to listen to. And then the other one I mentioned, the Griefcast by Cariad, she talks to people about all kinds of different experiences of grief. And I don't know if you're grieving or if you've ever lost someone. I'm sorry if that is the case. But it is the loveliest series of conversations to listen to. And if you look at the descriptions, some of the stories are so specific that you might end up finding someone that is in exactly the same shoes as you. And it's, you know, hard to imagine that when you're in a place of, you know, feeling so upset or whatever phase of your journey you're on. But anyway, 2 lovely podcasts. So Fearne's Happy Place podcast. By the way, I'm taking this all the way up to this line. I'm going to tickle it under my eye and then I'm going to blend everything out. But while I'm in the flow of telling you about these podcasts now, I don't want to start talking about makeup because I feel like I'm more excited to tell you about these. But basically, she made an online festival recently. It's completely free. Lots of different activities on there because she usually does it in person, but obviously that's not possible this year. But there's everything from meditations to listen to, some really powerful talks from people of all kinds of different backgrounds on lots of different topics. One lady I happened to click on TED Talk, Vivian, what was her name? Nicola Vivian, I think it was. I ended up ordering her book. She was brilliant. But you can go back and watch it all on YouTube. If you just type in Fearne Cotton, you'll find it. So this is my very long and rambly way of telling you that I was so excited to do a little talk at the festival. So I wanted my makeup to look nice, and this was the makeup I did. Now I know this looks absolutely balmy now. Yeah, it does. I'm going to take, this is NARS Laguna Bronzer on a really clean, fluffy brush. And I'm just going to soften all of those edges. And then by the time you've softened everything and put a bit of liner on, you won't recognise those strange eyes that were looking at you a second ago. There we go. I'm going to put some pencil on as well. Now, the reason I love this eyeshadow, see the difference with a bit of blending? And if you just get into the habit of washing your brushes every day, I know for some people that is so obvious, but for others it's something that I get it that you do put it off and it's boring. I hear you. I find it boring and I have to do it all the time. That is one thing I would imagine all makeup artists can agree on. It doesn't matter how long you've been washing your brushes for, you just always think, do I have to do this again? But keeping them nice and clean is the key to getting that to be a really seamless blend. And that little hint of copper through that brown is what is really going to make every eye colour pop. So I'm going to take a bit of pencil. These are new IT Cosmetics gel liners in a pencil form. They're absolutely lovely. I'm just going to take a bit of this along the waterline. Now, I have to be careful when I do this because I wear lenses and it ends up getting all over my lenses, but you feel free to just get in there. If you were doing this without lenses, you can just press the pencil onto that lash line, close your eyes and wriggle it across. But I'm kind of trying to tickle it on without irritating those lenses. That'll do me. Well, it'll have to do me because I'm on 9 minutes and I've got a few more bits I want to show you. Okay, I'm now going to do a nice soft brow. I don't want anything too firm, so I'm just going to take a really soft pressure with a little pencil and scoot that through. And then, so last night I'd put a video up and I haven't done any videos in ages, so I'd said, okay, any ideas for what you'd like to see? And Donna said, would you do a little Trinny video? And I've actually got some new cream products for cheeks and bronzer, highlighter, that kind of thing. And I'd use them in this makeup, and I've been meaning to use them in a video. So Donna, the plan completely came together. So I'm going to show you some of those now. Lovely. Let me quickly, in fact, put my mascara on, and then I don't need to go back to my eyes. They're completely done. Now, at the time that I'm doing this, it's Friday evening, and if I'm finished in time and it uploads in time, I'm going to be doing a live video tonight with Keeks. We're going to be on the Cosmo UK page. I'll be on my page actually, and Keeks will be on Cosmo. But we're literally just going to chill, have a face mask and talk about rosacea. So if you do happen to see this and it's Friday night as I've put it up, then do come and join us. And if not, they'll be keeping it on there afterwards. But yeah, that's one thing I've been doing in lockdown actually, is I have been trying lots of different budget rosacea skincare. I was just having a look online, just researching what people were saying were good and ordering what I could to have a little play. And I found some lovely bits, in particular The Ordinary, the Inky List, but I will do a separate video dedicated to that. Okay, so Trinny London, if you don't know of it, it's Trinny Woodall, as in Trinny and Susanna, and basically everything's creamy and it comes in these little stacks, so they're handy to just kind of cart around, and then you can do them individually. I'm going to take some of the cream bronzer. I'm just going to dot this on with my finger. I'll buff it in with a brush in a minute. Really lovely. I like that you can't really go wrong because it's nice and soft. So I'm just going to get that on. I'm kind of looking at my phone instead of the mirror. I know I've said this to you before, but sometimes I'm going to take my foundation brush. Sometimes it might look a bit mad on the phone, but I always go by what the mirror is saying, because I think we're all guilty of looking at things on our phone and thinking, oh, you know, I wish I wore that, or that looked nice, but then in real life it might not translate. So I'm actually going straight in with the brush. Could have done that first, but never mind. How much time have I got? 2 minutes. So these are lovely because you're getting all your shape and contour and everything, but it's got a nice dewy finish, which I love. So just going in with some of that, lovely. I'm then going to take a bit of Wiggs blusher. Nice little creamy pinky. This is quite firm. Like, I'm really having to get my finger in there. It's absolutely lovely. Comes out such a soft flush, but it's not as dewy as the bronzer. So just be prepared. The only good thing actually, in fairness, that I should have said, the nice thing about that is if you did want to take some on your lips, if it was too dewy, it would run away after 5 minutes. Okay, and then here we are, a little highlighter. This is the shade Starlight. Again, I'm using the same finger for all of this. And I'm just going to pat this in with my hands. Donna, if you're watching, defo loving the Trinny stuff. Would love to know what you've tried, any other bits that you like. But yeah, I've been using these a lot for the past few weeks, just because they're so quick, and when you want to have something on that you feel nice, but there's no point wearing loads because you're not going anywhere, it's kind of the perfect balance. And then just to finish this off, I'm going to take a bit of Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk liner to just plump the lips up. Okay, I said to my dad, I don't know if you can hear that, just 15 minutes, Dad. No DIY, I'm just doing a video. And there he is drilling. But anyway, hope you enjoyed. Have a little look at Happy Place on YouTube, and I'll look forward to speaking to you over the weekend. Take care.